Hello everybody and welcome back to Syracuse Aviation. Before we get started, make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel for more aviation related content. So before we get started, obviously we are in a new setting today for this video, so I apologize if you guys hear any background noise. That's just how dorm rooms are, especially on a weekend. There's, people aren't going to classes and stuff, so maybe it's actually going to be a little bit quieter, but we'll see. Today we have a Syracuse Airport update video. Obviously it's not the model airport. I can't just, pack that up and bring it with me to college. As much as I'd like to do that, it's just not feasible. So, and I've done these videos before, the little talk, not necessarily a podcast, just kind of like a sit down video to explain what's been going on. So there's been a lot of news actually. I did like a good hour of just little research before I started filming, and even I learned some stuff that I didn't know before. So we're going to start with the monthly statistics, which have been, as of late, outstanding. If I remember correctly, the last one of these that I did was February. So we're going to start with the March statistics. These were huge. March was a big month for us. We had about 260,000 passengers pass through the airport, which is up almost 15% from 2023, which was our busiest year ever. And we're already up 15% from that previous year in March, which is amazing. April was a little bit underwhelming. It's still a good month. We were still up almost 9%, which is a solid amount, but March was, to be specific, March was 259,678. April was 259,695. So we were pretty much neck and neck between those 2 months, despite both of them being up. It's just interesting because the previous year, March was 226,000 and April was 238,000, so roughly 12,000 passengers more in April. And this year, those 2 months were pretty much neck and neck. It's not a huge deal, I just thought it was interesting. May was pretty good. May was 272,823, which is up almost 9% again over 2023. That already beat October of 23, which is our busiest month on record. June, June was crazy. It was only 2,000 above May, so it was 274,727 for June, which is up 19.31% over 2023. That was big. And then July was, this was pretty big as well. I saw this just a couple days ago, and this was just amazing. 295,207, which is up 13.68% over July 2023, which was 260,000 almost. So those are big numbers, big increases. It's been great to see this. I'm eager to see how August turns out. Obviously, we're still in August, about to close it out here. Southwest, obviously, you guys heard the news. They are no longer here. I should say there because I'm not even close to Syracuse right now. I'm in Virginia, but they left on October 4th was their last day, and obviously what's nice about Southwest is they are so flexible with the ability to connect, but they also have obviously cheaper airfares, so they really help lower the cost of airfares at whatever airports they serve because of that. I would think it would affect us, but at the same time, I haven't seen much of an increase in airfares at our airport, which is really good. And we're still getting a lot of upgraded mainline flights on a lot of those legacy carriers, which is really nice to see. I'll go in depth on a lot of those in a few minutes here. I'm anticipating it's going to be around 300,000. I would have said like 305, 310,000. I'm being pretty generous and deducting half of what should have been a net increase. So we should still be close to 300, 305,000. Although we did lose a couple things in August, but we also did gain some things. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to make a prediction because I just have no idea what's going to happen. There's so many ways this could go, but it's not going to hurt us too much. We're still going to obviously grow a decent amount. It's just going to, it's just throwing a little bit of a bump in the road, I guess. So that's it for these statistics. Let's take a look at everything else. So JetBlue, we're going to start with JetBlue news. So Orlando is going to be 2 daily beginning October 26th, which is going to be a midday flight, which gets in around 3:30 p.m. I believe, and then overnight as well, which is doubling our current capacity, which is just a once daily A320, so that's really good. And then starting on December 19th, the 3:30 flight is going to be on an A321. So not only are we getting double daily from Orlando, but one of those starting a little bit later goes up to an A321, which I believe this is the first time we've ever had a regularly scheduled, consistent A321 for JetBlue operate into here, which is just absolutely amazing. Matthew Schwebka, who's our airport communicator and customer experience manager, mentioned that Orlando is our busiest, our most flown destination, which it makes sense, but he mentioned that you could put any size aircraft on Orlando and it would just fill up, and it's pretty much true. I mean, we just keep seeing so many more flights added to Orlando. Now, we did lose it on Southwest, which is one thing, but we're still more than taking care of what we lost on Southwest by adding these services, which is really nice. So the 2 daily service continues until February 25th when it goes back to just 1 daily, but that 1 daily flight is still an A321. So overall, the 2 daily isn't going to last year round, which makes sense, but it is going to be an A321, which is still an increase from what it is currently, so that's really nice to see. JetBlue A220s are going to be making their way into Syracuse for not only Boston, which is the once daily evening flight, but also JFK, which is currently a 5 o'clock-ish A320. I thought that they were going to be doing, basically Boston currently is a once daily Embraer 190, so that's going to go up to an A220, which is adding capacity, and then I thought because of that they were going to make JFK a once daily A220, which would be down-gauging from a A320. So we'd kind of be balancing out between Boston and JFK, but JFK is actually going to be 2 daily A220s starting on September 4th, which is really nice. So still continuing to see net increases across the board for JetBlue. JetBlue is really going at it here, which is awesome to see. I really want to see Fort Lauderdale. We had it, I think, in 2018, and then they cut it. Which back then I can see why. We weren't, as busy as we are now. But I think given these passenger numbers, we can definitely see that at some point in the future. I really hope we get it. That's the one main thing with JetBlue that we're missing right now is Fort Lauderdale, because they have a pretty good presence there. So I'd love to see that. Raleigh-Durham started on Breeze. It's been going pretty well. It's not as well as I thought it would be. We're probably between 70 and 75%-ish on most of these flights. I haven't been looking every day right before they take off, so that's another thing. There could still be extra seats sold that I hadn't seen yet. But we'll have to see when these actual statistics come out on Aviation Database. But it's been okay. It's been good enough. I don't think they're going to cut it. And actually, they won't be cutting it. They're going to be making it year-round. Not only on the 195, but they're upgauging it to an A220 as well, year-round to Raleigh-Durham, which is kind of a shock to me, to be honest. A lot of that, though, is because they're going to be doing a breeze-through option to Sarasota. So we're getting more connections to Florida. Sarasota, we only had on Allegiant. Technically, if you want to talk nonstop, we still only have it on Allegiant. Breeze could even go nonstop at some point. That'd be really nice. But nonetheless, it's great to have another option to get to Sarasota. Again, that is Breeze Airways, Syracuse to Raleigh-Durham to Sarasota, and then back, of course, on the A220-300, which is two weekly year-round. I can't remember what days they are. I think that's starting in October. And let's see. Oh no, sorry. The breeze through to Sarasota starts on November 22nd. And then, in addition to that, Breeze is also doing Fort Myers from October 4th to May 12th, Monday, Friday. So last year in 2023 to 2024 was, I believe, started in November and went through March or April. I think it might have been March. It actually was April, sorry. So they're adding a few more months to the service, which is really nice. That's really good to see. And then Tampa, on Breeze as well, is suspended for September, but it comes back in October with some spontaneous Tuesdays thrown in there for like college breaks and high school breaks and stuff like that. And then starting in February break of 2025, it's going 3 weekly from there on out. So that's Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, consistently starting next February, which is really nice. Just continuing to add more capacity to Florida, which can never really have too much of with upstate New York. Allegiant begins Myrtle Beach 3 months sooner this year. The airport actually did a post about this the other day, which was really nice. I was on the news a little bit too. 3 months sooner, starting on March 6th, Allegiant to Myrtle Beach will be Sunday, Thursday. So that's awesome to see as well. Allegiant expanding a little bit out of here. Let's talk some of the legacy main lines, as I was alluding to earlier. We're going to start with DCA, which was A319 2 months ago for that 11 o'clock flight. That has since been essentially 86'd, done away with temporarily, but it's coming back on September 8th, which will be overnight, and it will be continuing through October 5th. Then it will go to the noon flight from October 6th to November 4th, and then November 5th through December 4th, it will be back to all 175s and CRJ 700s. So kind of jumping around, just matching the, whenever the passengers are flying the most, certain services, they're just trying to match everything and make sure they can fill the planes the best, which is smart. It may be inconsistent, but if it's what they have to do to make sure they're filling the planes as best they can, I don't have a problem with that at all. Philadelphia, all right, this is quite a mess. Even worse than United's mainline, which you also know the story with that, hopefully. At any rate, depending on the day, American sends, let's see, looking at my notes, sorry. They send in 2 Embraer 145s in addition to overnighting 2 CRJ 900s to Philadelphia out of Syracuse. They overnight 2 CRJ 900s at the same time, and then throughout the day they have those 2 145s in addition. That's what they've been doing for the past couple of months. Some days, starting on, today's the 24th, so I believe starting on the 26th of August, they'll just send in 1 Embraer 145 and 1 CRJ 900, which is the overnight on that CRJ 9. And sometimes it's a mix of things. Sometimes it's 2 145s and 1 CRJ 9. Sometimes it's 2 CRJ 9s and 1 145. Like they're just all over the place. I could have gone into more detail and explained it day by day what's going to happen, but there's just no point. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not that deep. It's just Philadelphia. So, nevertheless, very interesting. It's not necessarily a really good thing. It's not like we're getting an A319 to Philadelphia, but they're just trying to match that capacity, which I'm not going to complain with, but I'm also not going to look too deeply into because it's just a total mess. Let's go to Delta. So Atlanta has been 3 daily with 1 A321, overnight for the summer, which started back in June, I believe. May have actually been May or April, probably not April, it was at least May, I think, along with the 2 other A320s. And then that already has gone on a short break for late August and September. Then Atlanta's going to be, let's see, what was I going to say? Sorry. Yeah, that's correct. And then in October, Detroit is going to be on the A320 overnight again, like it was last year. So we're going to have 3 daily Atlanta, including an A321. And then Detroit is also going to have an A320 on the overnight. So nice capacity on Delta there. I'm assuming that's probably after the expansion is done, because that's going to be a lot of passengers all at the same time in Concourse B to fly out at the same time in the morning. I'm guessing that's probably when the expansion is going to be about done, which is why they're waiting until that point to do that. I could be wrong, but so again, just seeing the airlines try to pinpoint the best times to fly certain frequencies and aircraft. So no complaints there, just continuing to maximize efficiency, which absolutely nothing wrong with. It's not all good news, obviously. There's going to be some things that are not necessarily terrible, upsetting news, but there's going to be some things that have to change for certain reasons. So Frontier is suspending just for 1 month, so it's not the end of the world. Just 1 month, they're suspending Raleigh, Durham, Denver, and Atlanta. So no big deal. September's a slower month for us anyways, so it's not like it's, you know, cutting these services in the middle of October, or, you know, Southwest leaving in early August, which was just terrible. But kind of sad to see, but they're going to be back pretty soon, so I'm not, you know, September's going to go quick anyways, so who cares. Expansion progress is the next thing. I haven't been to the airport for about two weeks. Well, the last time was when I saw the C5 land, do a touch and go there, and I wasn't really over at the terminal too much, so I didn't get a good look at it, but it's coming along from what I've seen. My friends have sent some photos, which has been nice to see. Gate 15 getting that little bump out for, I believe it's going to be their own little baggage claim area, and then gate 23, 27, and 11 are coming along as well, which is nice. Gate 14 allegedly is getting a jet bridge, according to documents that I saw on the SRAA website. It looked like they were bumping out the terminal because they had all the concrete torn up, just like they do in the other areas of the terminal that they're actually expanding. But one of my friends made a good point, is that Gate 14 has never had a jet bridge before, and so that could mean that they're tearing up the concrete to be able to provide a foundation for a jet bridge, which makes a ton of sense. So I think Gate 14 is getting a jet bridge, so that's nice. It's not confirmed yet. According to documents, it is confirmed, but they've moved away from some of those documents they had in the past, and just they haven't gone through. So, but I don't know what else they'd be doing at Gate 14. I don't know why they'd bump out the terminal and not have a jet bridge at that gate. So that's that. And we have a new vendor coming to the airport as well, Miss Prissy's, which is was like a farmer's market stand in the Salt City Market. Provides soul food. I've never tried it, but I'd like to, maybe at the airport whenever I go next, if they're moved in at that point, and they're opening up a place in downtown Syracuse as well as the airport. So just, again, as the airport's been trying to do, bringing in some of that local flavor for passengers who maybe didn't get enough during their visit. The Conrack, which is the consolidated rental car facility, which is going to be located at the overflow lot, is supposed to be finished by Q4 2025, so construction should be starting soon. I can't imagine that structure is going to take a terribly long time to complete, about a year, which is about right. We're in Q3 2024, so hopefully starting soon. We don't know yet. There just hasn't been a whole lot said. And then the last thing to mention is American Airlines Chicago O'Hare A319 service, which has been going strong for the last month or so, is continuing through October 6th, and then is back to all E-jets. So that's the 170, 175, which is 3 times per day, like it is now. We're just dropping that lunchtime service back to a 170. So yeah, that's all we have for Syracuse Airport for the last 6 months, and looking forward a couple months as well. So the most notable stuff, just, you know, obviously JetBlue was probably the bulk of this. JetBlue and Breeze. It's really fun to see JetBlue and Breeze expand. Breeze is a staple for us, and JetBlue hasn't really been making a lot of moves here in Syracuse until now. All of this stuff has been unveiled in the last month and a half or so. It's, you know, just a lot of capacity increase on JetBlue, which is nice. Again, Breeze, just more connections, more availability, opportunities for certain dates that you might want to fly, and then just some little mainline changes. Everything is not staying the same, probably a little bit better than staying the same when you just average everything out. Obviously, we're growing, so there's some things, you know, are decreasing, but there's more improvements to make up for that, and even, you know, add more capacity. So if that makes any sense. I'm really rusty, sorry guys. I haven't made a video like this in 6 months, and so I'm trying my best here, but it's just hard to put my words together with all the stuff that's been happening. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's little airport update. You know, it's the most I can do for the resources that I have right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider liking the video. I'd really appreciate that. Subscribing and sharing the video. Pushing this content out, I really appreciate it. The support means the world to me. So I appreciate you guys' continued support, and I will see you guys in the next one.